Hey guys, it's Andre from the High Performance Academy. We're here with Texas Dave from Austin, Texas. Dave runs the Rally Ready Driving School in Texas, and he also competes at Pikes Peak in this amazing EVO hill climb car. And we're here to talk to Dave a little bit about what's gone into building this particular EVO. So Dave, thanks for joining us. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the car? First of all, the power plant. What have you done to this 4G63 to get it to go up that hill so quick?
Well, I had to get out of the States first. We had to go up to Canada because those guys seem to know what they're doing better than we do. It's a 2.3 liter 4G63 with Kelford cams and all forged internals that are all proprietary Magnus top secret stuff. With dry sump, we have a 5-gallon capacity for oil in this thing, sitting in the back seat along with the radiator and most of the rest of our various lubricants. The problem we have at Pikes Peak is there's just such a wide variety of corners. We have low speed, high speed, all kinds of stuff. So we've tried a lot of engines in the past, and this is the only one that's ever seemed to hold together for us.
Great. So what sort of power are you actually using to get up the hill?
All of it, and a lot. We started our first Evo as an Evo 6.5, which we didn't actually get here in the States. That we ran back in the day. We tried about 350, 400 horsepower of that, but Pikes Peak we gained 5,000 feet of elevation over the course of the race, which means the car handles completely differently, and we run out of power. We lose about 20 to 30% of our horsepower. So we started at sea level about 750 horsepower. By the start line, we're down to somewhere around 650, sometimes 600, and then as we creep up, it just slowly disappears. So the thing drives like an FQ400 Evo by the summit and starts as a madman at the start. So
I guess a little bit more boring the further you go up the hill.
It's never boring. It's an absolutely insane thing that all of us do, and none of us realize it during race week until we're on the top of the mountain and we all stand around and go, wait, what did we just do? But yeah, it gets a little slower for sure, a little more lethargic, if you will.
Okay, so let's talk about how you're getting that power. I mean, that's a lot of power out of even a stroker 4G63, and I'm guessing that turbo technology is quite critical there. You obviously need to keep a bit of a balance between response and outright power. How have you gone about it with the turbo selection?
I left it to people who know what they're doing a lot better than I do. I'm good at 3 pedals and a steering wheel, and then I leave the rest of that to other people. So Force Performance turbochargers out of McKinney, Texas, local company. They've worked with Magnus for years, so it was kind of all three of us were all worked really closely together. Magnus sort of worked with Force Performance in terms of what combination would work with their engine. Force Performance gave a lot of feedback with their experience, and then I gave kind of what I expected as a driver. The issue on Pikes Peak is there's no oxygen, there's no air, so we need a turbo that can crank just a crazy amount of air through, which means we need a larger frame turbo. The issue with that, of course, the larger we go, the less response we have, which is already a huge problem on Pikes Peak. We're not on a big circuit with lots of fast corners where we can carry momentum. We go through super tight corners where I have no engine speed. So that was really, really difficult. And this is the first year that we've had something that was able to put a ton of power out and had really incredible response. And that was because Force Performance has designed their own turbo from scratch. It's a whole billet center section CHRA with their own proprietary compressor wheels on it, and so it was a bit of magic for me in the car.
Magic or not, I'm guessing an anti-lag strategy is going to be pretty critical to doing that and making that turbo work. How important is it to you?
I'd love it. We used to always run anti-lag. We actually didn't this past year just because we ran out of time in testing, and we got the car to where it was working really well, and I was shocked with how much response we already had, so we were like, let's not throw any more variables in there. That's one of the first things we're going to start doing in January. We're going to be testing in Southern California because I live in Texas, and that just seems convenient. So we're gonna be back and forth between Texas, Southern California, and Canada, and start implementing some of the anti-lag that the Haltech offers us. See what it does.
If you've already got a package that's responsive enough to be competitive, obviously the anti-lag's only going to be an improvement, though.
Yeah, it's not. We're struggling with competitive just because there's this guy that some people have heard of named Sebastian Loeb who showed up with. Apparently, when they entered the unlimited class, they thought that also meant budget, so they showed up with a little bit of money. So, this is kind of a garage-built car with a bunch of enthusiasts. So our goal at this point is just to see how fast we can go, and yeah, the anti-lag will definitely make the response a bit more exciting.
I guess you got to take a pretty big stick to the fight if you want to beat Sebastian Loeb and Red Bull.
Yeah, we sort of brought a toothpick to a gunfight this year, but we're hoping we can at least upgrade to a pocket knife or maybe a chef's knife for next year. So.
Okay, let's talk about the electronics package of the car. Can you tell us what ECU you're running and anything else in the electronics package that you're using to get data out of the car?
Yeah, we're using the Haltech Platinum Pro plug-in, the EVO 9 ECU, which was great because this car, we had a bunch of trouble with it a few years ago, and the old engine management failed, and so we got a new Haltech, and then all we had to do was get an EVO 9 harness, run it to all of its various locations. It took about a day to get this whole thing fired up, the whole electronics package. The Haltech's done pretty much everything we need. We have an AIM dash display on it that communicates, just straight plug-in with the Haltech, gets all the data from there, and that seemed to cover it for now.
In terms of monitoring the car at Pikes Peak and improving it sort of run to run, are you using that data log and you're relying heavily on that to improve the vehicle?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of seat of the pants, and then we've got guys all along the mountain on each of the practice sections who do tire temperatures and brake temperatures and all that easy stuff, and we just run and take temperature. Anything on the car that might be hot, we take temperatures and make sure it doesn't get out of control. So it's pretty primitive in a lot of respects.
Let's talk a little bit about that massive altitude change. So obviously as you get higher and higher up Pikes Peak, you get less and less oxygen density. You said that's taking sort of 20 to 30% of the power away from the car. Are you using anything in the Haltech to help combat that and help keep that power level a little bit more stable?
Yeah, that was probably the most exciting thing about the Haltech for us, was that we can run a second map sensor, which basically will compensate for the barometric pressure change. So the tune will sort of change as we go up the mountain. So I don't actually know that in the past, one of the issues I'll have is that the tune just sort of, we have the same tune as we go up, so we're changing in altitude, and the car's losing power, and then the tune starts to kind of get nasty. So you have all these issues, and with the Haltech and the way that we're able to compensate for the barometric pressure, we kind of at least keep the car has the same drivability. It just sort of loses a little bit of power as we go up, so it's a lot easier to drive.
So kind of the best you can expect, given the fact that your density is what it is. Now let's just talk a little bit about the drivetrain in the car. I mean, these cars come out from the factory, you've got options of active yaw control, active center diff. Are you using any of those functions in this car?
Nope, nothing active. It's all mechanical for me. We have a mechanical center diff. It's the Cusco 6535, their tarmac gear diff, and then we have carbonetic in the rear, and then wave track up front. So we just kind of have a whole different slew of different kind of diffs in it, and the rest of it's all up to me.
Oh, I guess that keeps it simple in the end. Look, Dave, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us today. It's an awesome car, and we wish you all the best to take it to Sebastian Loeb next year.
Thanks. We'll do our best. Cheers.
For online tuning courses, visit learntotune.com.